Anya, let's bring you in since you went to an HBCU.
Yeah, I grew up on an HBCU campus. All of my schooling was on HBCU campus. My HBCU had one of the few laboratory schools in the country that was on HBCU campus. And then for my master's, I went to an HBCU. And I definitely agree with a lot of what you're saying around how we approach these generations now. It's very different. But I also think people have approached HBCUs, especially the most popular ones, as one size fits all. And we're down to 102. Because I remember a time when it was 125, then I remember when it went down to 114. And now we're at 102.
Yeah.
And we also have a distinction between private HBCUs and public. And the public HBCUs were funded from the government, land grant institutions. So a lot of the resource constraints, and not to make excuses, but a lot of them don't get the allocations from the budget of the states
1000%.
that a lot of the PWIs get. My school specifically in the 80s and 90s was one of the top HBCUs in South Carolina. And it was getting more pub than some of your other Division 1A PWIs. And we watched slowly and methodically over years of defunding and watched these other PWIs that were what we would call ratchet and hoodish, come up, from your coastal Carolinas to your Francis Marion universities, and these are schools in South Carolina. They weren't on the same level as South Carolina State for years. And then as the legislature defunded South Carolina State, you saw these schools get funded. So I think some of the decision is, what do we do? Do we keep lights on in a dorm, or do we find a software for the Career Center?
Exactly.
It's like those tough decisions, especially if you don't have that endowment.
Exactly.
But I do think one of the things that we have to do, which is along with some of the thinking you were talking about, is galvanize alumni in a way that they haven't before. And I know we've gone through a emergence and an energizing of our alumni, especially from a giving perspective. Because how you get donor dollars from philanthropic organizations is comparison of your percentage of alumni given. And if you're not a Morehouse or a Spelman or A&T now at this point from a public university, you don't get that attraction if your alumni giving is not at least 10, 12, 15%.